So when replacing your pads, a common mistake that I see people make when it comes to brake pad wear and replacing calipers and all that is, as you can see, I've got a set of brake pads here, and you can see that the one has a lot more pad left than the other one. Most instances, most people chalk this up to a bad brake caliper, and it definitely, I would say, the majority of times can be that way. But especially when you've got pads that are completely different, have completely different thicknesses like this, there can be another cause of this besides a bad caliper. And I do have a caliper over here. It's a little different, but I will show you what happened actually with this. Is a slightly different style caliper, but it'll work to show you what was going on there. So when your brake pad sits in here, you can see it needs to sit between point A and point B here in the bracket. What happens sometimes is over time these things rust, and where the brake pad sits in here in between rusts, and it actually makes this brake pad rust tight to where it doesn't want to move in the caliper, and you sometimes have to take a hammer and beat them out. But most of the time, if that's the case, once you can get the pads out of it, you can usually go in here with a wire wheel or something of that nature, maybe even a hammer and a punch or something, and break up that rust and get rid of the rust, and you can usually then just put a new set of brake pads in it and you're good to go. One easy way usually to tell is even when the caliper is still on the vehicle, if you can get in there and get your hand on this caliper, a caliper that just sits there, usually you can actually rock it back and forth just a wee little bit. It's not much, but usually just a little bit. And that is an easy way to tell if a slide pin here is locked up, because a slide pin is what else is the other thing that can cause this. And then you do need to replace your caliper is usually the best thing to do. But you can figure out if it's a slide pin locked up, or if it's just simply because the pad happens to be seized in there. And obviously a pad being seized in there is a whole lot cheaper to deal with than replacing your caliper.